Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach and Off channel. In this video we're going to do a team update for AFL SuperCoach. So I guess at the time of recording there hasn't been any of the preseason matches yet. It's still very much just speculation, looking at reports from intra-club matches and just people watching the training, that sort of deal. But I thought before we sort of look at the updated team, I'd just give a quick plug to the league. As you can see, we've got 12 people signed up, which is pretty good. But it would be nice to get a full team or full league of 20 teams. So you can see the league code there on the screen, 646784. I'll put a link in the description as well that you can access, and we'll go from there. But without further ado, we'll have a look at the team. So, have gone fairly heavy at the back, with Dacos, Sicily, and Stewart all locked in as probably season-long keepers. I've experimented with different combinations of two of these three, one of the three, or even in a couple of cases none of the three. But I think they're just players that we can lock in for consistent scores at the back. I know, Dacos has the earlier bye, which is a bit of an issue. Sicily might be missing some of his, sort of teammates there in defence and might have to do a slightly different job to what we'd ideally like to see him do. But, I think they'll still score well regardless. So, they're just sort of like set and forget options. And Tom Stewart is the same. He plays well at Geelong. I know they've got a few away games to start the season, but just lock him in and get on the defense. Excuse me. So Hayden Young also seems like a lock in most teams. So happy to have him at the discounted price. And then I've gone with Kadeen Coleman. So I guess ideally, this position would probably belong to Buderick, the Gold Coast Suns defender. Looks like he's been given a pretty prominent role by Damien Hardwick, the new coach there. But as you'll see throughout the rest of the team, I've already got a few Suns players and Tom Green as well, which is going to create a bit of an issue for the round 3 bye. So at the moment I've got Coleman in. If I end up needing some cash, he may be downgraded to Buderick, and I'll just have to do my best to scramble for round 3. But I think he can go to the next level with Daniel Rich out of the team, and we'll sort of take that mid sort of price flyer in the defence. Zach Williams, pretty popular. As long as he's fit, I think he'll be in most teams, so that's fine. And then I've got Gibkiss and Caulfield on the bench. Obviously, if we only need a few thousand, I can downgrade Gibkiss to maybe another 123k defender. It all just depends on who's sort of starting going into round 1. So I've just got them for the time being, but very much as placeholders. In the midfield, I've gone with 5 premiums. So Butters, Tom Green, Brayshaw, Walsh, and Touk Miller. And, the obvious weakness there is Green, Walsh, Miller all having an early bye. Walsh in round 2, Green and Miller both in round 3. But I guess you've got to weigh up the sort of opportunity cost a bit, which, I guess that's sort of leaning towards not starting them because they're going to miss out on points. But I guess they're players we're going to want after their bye. Given that, particularly Miller and Walsh are good value. I think Tom Green has the potential to push towards 700k as well. So, happy to have all 3 in the team for now, alongside Brayshaw and Butters, who, have that awesome bye schedule for us, which sort of just makes it easy to carry them for the duration. Excuse me. So McKercher and Sanders are pretty much in everyone's team. I think Curtin's pretty popular too. Sounds like he'll get a start round one, so that's fine. Roberts sounds like he could have a role in the halfback sort of area for the Swans, and he has shown scoring potential in the past, so I'm happy to park him on the bench for the time being. And then Sharp and Clark are just those cheap options, hoping they get named for round one. The Rocks still going with Grundy and Cherry. Obviously, with my budget, Cherry makes a really good enabler um, to get, like a Coleman in. I guess if we had to, ultimately, we could chop these two up into a Gorn and a cheap defender. But I guess for the time being, we can sort of run with those extra points in the defence, obviously. And I think, Sherry won't be that far behind Gorn. I don't think he'll match him by any stretch, but when you consider the value, I think it's not the worst shout in the world. And Maley, so I've gone out of Jordan Sweet. Sounds like Soldo is going to be the main ruck there at Port Adelaide. So I don't know if Sweet will get a lot of game time. So we'll just go with the bottom dollar sort of donut option for our loophole. And then in the forwards, so I guess Flanders is the one sort of gun option that most people have in the forwards. Again, another Gold Coast player, which is a bit of an issue, but I think he is the best sort of value on offer there in the forwards. Harms and Billings, that sort of mid to low price range, bit of value, but nothing fantastic there. I'm sure if cheaper options come up, we'll happily substitute them out. Harley Reid, everyone's got, so that's fine. And then Wilson and Manor have been hyped up in the preseason. And then Sexton and Karma. So a couple of options that look like they might get a spot in their back line. So again, this creates a bit of an issue when you've got one, two, three Suns plus Tom Green. You can sort of see why I sort of had to let Buderick go. He was sort of like, half and half, half value, half premium. Whereas Miller and Flanders, I definitely would classify as premium. And Sexton at 133, well, we've got to take that value when we can get it in the forward line. So that's the team and how it stands. Obviously, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge yet in terms of all the preseason matches and how teams are setting up, that sort of thing. But yeah, I guess it's getting closer and closer. I know like the NRL had their first round of trials last weekend, so pretty itchy to get in and talk some SuperCoach. And I thought, well, I haven't done an AFL one for a while, so I better update the crew with how that's going. So, as always, if you've got any comments, questions about the team, feel free to ask or feel free to comment. Obviously, if you've got suggestions on how it can be better, um, you probably know more than me, so that's fair enough. But yeah, if you enjoy the AFL content, remember to give it a like. Subscribe for all the fantasy content we've got on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.